Welcome to Business Type. I am Melisha, and today we will be talking about the role of capital in production and the types of capital. So, when we're talking about capital, we're talking about the machinery, the tools, the plant, or the building that are used to produce other goods and services. Now, can you imagine if none of these things in existence? Can you imagine in those bakeries years ago, persons had to be using their hands when they're mixing the dough, but now we have dough mixing machines. So capital has done so much. Think about agriculture. When persons had to be cutting, whether it be the cane or whatever it is, and they had to use a cutlass, they had to use their hands and their physical strength that was draining. But so instead of manually cutting the sugar cane, no, what is happening now is that huge giant machines are used to cut the sugar cane out there in the field, which makes so much more sense. And this is so good. Can you imagine if people had to be those who offer services to wash clothes? Can you imagine if people had to still be a lot of persons still had to be using their hands to wash their clothes? Oh my word, that would take so much work. But now we have washing machines. So there is no doubt that with the use of capital, more goods and services are provided. When you also think of how today people manufacture cars, highly automated, where they even use robots, that's so interesting. Yes. There are three types of capital that we are going to be looking at: fixed capital, venture capital, and working capital. So fixed capital consists of those assets that are not used up or destroyed during the production process of goods and services. And so what they are used to do is to help in the production process, and they can be used multiple times. And so these fixed capital are durable, and we can think of many of them. So for example, let's think of a bakery. What are some fixed capital in a bakery? The oven, the mixer. So you can think of the plant, the machine, the building, equipment, all those things that are used to help in the production process. So for a retail store, you can think of the building itself, yes, and the fixtures and fittings that are there. So fixed capital is essential for the smooth running of a business. Working capital refers to capital that is needed for the day-to-day operation of a business. And so on a daily basis or from time to time, a business may need to purchase raw material. A business will need to pay its workers. And a business may also need to pay its bills, for example, light bill, water bill, things like those. And so every business needs to have working capital. So for a business to calculate or to know to find out what its working capital is, it will be the current asset minus current liability. Now let's talk a little about the current assets of a business. Now the current assets of a business are those things that the business owns. It's theirs. So current assets are all those assets that are expected to be sold, used up in the business for about a period of 1 year. Examples of current assets include stocks that you're going to use up in the production of goods and services to make your finished product. And you have debtors, throughout the period. Sometimes when businesses make sale, they will allow persons to not, or other businesses to not pay them for their goods or services right away. And so they will give them a time period, whether it be a month, 2 months time, to pay for the goods. And we call those the debtors. And also cash itself. So when we talk about current liabilities now, we're talking about those debts that are owed by the firm that need to be paid like within a year. So perhaps the business bought things from another business and so need to pay that debt to that business within maybe a month's time or up to a year, depending on the arrangement that they had. So business would want to ensure that its current assets are more than its current liabilities. Because if the current liabilities are more than the current assets, then chances are that the business will not have enough working capital to finance its day-to-day operations. You might find a situation where the business does not have any money to pay its workers, or the business might not have enough money to pay its bills, and one day the workers turn up for work and there is no electricity. And so it's so important that there is a positive working capital available to finance the day-to-day operations of the business. Venture capital is money that is given by investors to start up businesses or to small businesses that are already operating, but with a little help, they believe that these small businesses have the potential to grow and to do extremely well. Venture capital can come from different sources, such as well-off investors, investment banks, or financial institutions. And guess what? Our venture capitalists will benefit from such investment, because then if it's a company, they will get equity in that company. And so they will have returns in whatever form of business they do invest in. So hope you learned something today about capital. See you next time.